Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, a channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. Fam, comic books suck. They done sucked all the damn life out of them. They sucked all the joy out of them. They made the books so damn boring that it ain't even fun to read anymore. Man, the plots are paper thin. The colorings, the inks, the pencils, they don't even look that damn amazing. And you just sitting here like the prices done went up on the books. You remember as a little kid, you and your friends used to sit down and read comic books and talk about what you read, talk about, how you were actually amazed by, what you read, and you all of a sudden learn how to read bigger words. You see people just reading comics. I don't see not one motherfucker reading a comic book right now. I haven't ran across somebody reading a comic book. I haven't seen a kid with a comic book. Why? Because they're not fun or cool anymore. Back in the day, they were just a little bit fun because you seen teenagers reading comic books, man. You seen stuff, for what, 35 cents. Then they went up to like 65 cents. Then they were like $1. Then they, went up to like 5 and 6 damn dollars. The 90s were the last good time for comics, man. After that, comics just went downhill, man. You know, I could even say up to 2010 they were still good. But after that, it just went downhill, man, because it's like instead of it being about the book, it was about the money. And see, once you make anything about profits, and I ain't no lie, profits should have been in a long time ago, but the books have become too risque. They've been more lately like sitcoms, man. And I don't really want to sit there and read some damn plot from two broke girls, basically. They developing their friendship. They trying to see what they're gonna do. They're talking about their life and how they're gonna structure their life after college. I don't want to read that shit. I want to read books about superheroes or villains destroying the world and shit. You like, even in retrospect, you hear, man, I gotta pay that damn light bill. But he's still fighting Galactus and Thanos at the same time. You're like, okay, damn, like, okay, he's still human in there somewhere. He thinking about his bills on top of all that shit. But now you looking at these books, man. It's like they so sensitive, and they got feelings and shit. They got all of these hopes and dreams and shit. You don't expect that at no damn book as no guy. You sit here like, damn, you got you feeling tender after reading that damn book. You're like, wait, hold on. Man, it ain't about that. Like I told you before, bro, we got two different books right here. And I'm going to show them real quick. Give me a second. Man, this book is from last year. This is Witchblade #1. This book was like from, I think, 96 or something like this. This Witchblade right here, man, should be on here somewhere. Michael Turner did the art on this, man. I don't know, the cover is not that great to me. I always wondered, this cover could have been better, man. He has some amazing covers. But, I'm like, okay. Then you get to this book. I don't know who's the artist on this, man. It's up there. But you know what? This book is not the same as this book. This book is way more graphic. Vivid colors and every damn thing. You open this one up, it's not vivid colors. It's like, man, it's like everything that you think could go wrong with the damn book did go wrong. And that's my thing, man. Comics back in the day, they used to be full of fun. Think about X-Men, from the 90s that Jim Lee launched. Look at X-Force from the 90s that Rob Liefeld, launched. Dude, those books were fun. Those books were full of color. They were vivid. They had your imagination going. These books now, they're dull. They got all these subtexts and, hierarchies, love triangles. Don't get me wrong. Books, from all over history that were comics, they done had love triangles. Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Wolverine, Havoc, Scott Summers, Madeline Pryor, Goblin Queen, basically. You done had them in all of them. Look at Black Canary, Green Arrow, and the other guy. It was somebody else that it was in a love Wonder Woman, Superman, and Lois Lane. It was just so much shit. Then Batman. Dude, the books were so much that you like, but you was okay with that because it was subtle. It wasn't so in your face. All this shit is just pushing agendas that kids shouldn't be reading about, man. You know, it should just be where kids are allowed to be kids. The last safe space where kids are allowed to actually be little kids. You know, they took away the cartoons from the kids, saying they were just mindless entertainment. They need to have education. So you gave them educational stuff. Now they going to school 5 days a week. 7 days a week they getting educational shit. You know, like, I mean, on Saturdays and Sundays. Who want that? Why you think kids are not watching that? You just destroyed what it was like to be a kid, man. You know, why can't people just have fun? And that's the thing. People are tired. They're angry. You know, they thinking to themselves like, man, look, I'm looking for better. And you know what? As a collector of comics, man, this is why I collect the old stuff. The new stuff, man, don't get me wrong. It's still worth a read, but it's not my cup of tea. And if it's not my cup of tea, man, I'm not gonna mess with it. You know, I don't owe it to anybody to indulge in some shit that I don't like. If you like it, then go for it. Then, you know, like I said, this book here is $4.99. This book here was $2.50. This was $95.96. This was last year. Bro, I understand things go up, inflation, you know, the cost of goods, materials, and stuff to make these books. I understand also that the print media is basically dead. You know, they got digital comic books. But I'm going to be honest with you, I would not buy a digital comic. It makes no damn sense. I have no ownership over that. If I buy the book, I have ownership. I could open up anytime and read it. I don't have to, you know, do anything. But, you know, I can understand the purpose of digital stuff, just in case you're on the go, you're on a plane, you know, you don't have to download it if it's already on there, you know. So I'm thinking, you know, it also beats having all these heavy-ass books in your bag. But comics are so different now. And kids are so complex. They got their tablets. They got their cell phones. They got laptops where they just doing every different thing else. And these books are just doing nothing but cluttering up, you know, mainstream. Again, baby boomers, Generation X, were the one who were really into comics. This generation don't know too much about comics. Look at the comic book stores. They're dying out. It's a dying breed because nobody's checking for them anymore. Because nobody's really buying anything. A lot of the comic book stores that I knew that were in like fixed locations, man, they done closed down. Again, you don't got that many people shopping like they used to, man. I see people in comic book stores. Don't ever get it wrong. But it's a difference between a person, you know, coming in the store. I remember a guy that worked at a comic book store. He said, look, this ain't a library. So people start putting dollars up on the damn table, you know, and they were just still reading the books. Dude, it was like 25 people in there. It was like 25 singles on the damn table. I laughed my ass off because I put one up there too. I was just sitting there reading the books. They were just too expensive, bro. $5 for one damn book. $2.50 I thought was enough. Then you get the X-Men books. And these are just a little off. These are like $4.99 a piece. You know, it's like, what are we doing? You really want to kill the comics. You already have. The prices done killed the comics. And it ruined it for kids, man. It wasn't adults that killed comic books for kids. It was the damn prices that killed it. Then too much of the adult themes that creeped in, man. It was just too much. You want to see some fun shit. You want to see superheroes fighting. Like, you know, some of the Avengers or the Justice League movies. You want to see some of that. You don't want to hear about love and tenderness and, you know, we hooked up. You don't want to hear about that shit. You just want to see somebody fighting. And that's the fun thing about this. This is where everything falls apart. You know, like I said, you got to make it make sense for your damn self. And like I said, when it stopped making sense, And when it stopped being fun, that's when you quit. You don't owe no damn body nothing. You don't even owe yourself that. When it's time to quit, it's time to quit. You know when it's time to quit. You looking like this shit ain't making sense no more. It ain't even fun. If it ain't fun no more, you don't have to do it anymore. Dude, I'm gonna say that all day. When it ain't fun no more, you don't have to do it anymore. That's it. Keep it pushing. Keep it moving. Like I said, I buy stuff left and right. But one thing that I have learned over a period of time is basically stop while the going is good. You know, with the old books, I could buy them in lots, and I could get them for good prices because they're not going for that price that's on the book. You're getting like 10 or 15 books for $20. In my personal opinion, that's a good deal. And this is what I'm getting at, you know, opposed to buying one book for $5 damn. Bro, like I said, you got to make it make sense for me. And I'm good with that. You know, a lot of the great artists are not drawing anymore. You know, a lot of the good artists nowadays, they're just drawing covers. So you get this amazing cover on a book. You open the book up, the art is nowhere near what the cover looked like. And that's the shit that got me, man, that people don't understand. Dude, you cannot have shit. It's like, real talk. But to later, fam, thank you for watching. Peace out.